Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. On today's Tall Taro Adventure, we're going to the NYC Auto Show. I'm really excited for this event to be featured on my channel because it's a little bit nostalgic for me. I used to go quite frequently because my dad used to work in this industry, but I haven't been in at least 10 years. Before we get too into the video, I am going to put out a disclaimer that I am not an expert on cars. I just know what I think looks really good and sounds really good. I don't even have my driver's license. The first place we stopped by when we went in was the Hyundai section. Again, I don't drive, but if I did, I really did like the Hyundai Santa Fe. It almost looks like a Range Rover. Another vehicle that we looked at in the Hyundai section were cars a part of their N line, specifically the Ioniq 5N. The cars from the N line are supposed to be a little bit more sporty and high performance, and I was really excited to see that on the Ioniq 5 because I already know how much of a powerful and fast car it is. On this small course, you could sit in the car and feel the acceleration. I already know how extreme the acceleration on the Ioniq 5 is, so seeing the N take off was pretty sweet. Something else that I thought was pretty cool in this section is that Hyundai had its own lounge specific to Hyundai customers. All you had to do was show your key and they gave you free coffee and Wi-Fi. After stopping by for some coffee, we walked by the Genesis cars. These are concept cars from their Magma line. Also on display by Genesis was this concept called Neoloom. After this, we headed over to Kia to look at the EV9. I was a little bit disappointed because as a tall person, I thought the back seats were incredibly small. They also had this realistic driving simulator that my dad and my nephew tried. My nephew was a little bit disappointed because he didn't do super well. Subaru had on display this crash test car, which did really good. Does she even need an introduction? Lamborghini.
Would you put a bumper sticker on a Bentley?
Had an engine on display, which I thought was pretty cool. It almost reminds me of a human heart. I've always been a big fan of the look and sound of a Mustang, so I was really glad to see this one on display. This is the Mustang GTD, and I'm pretty sure this is for racing and that they're only going to be producing a set amount of them. After walking around for a little while, we decided to make our way to the top floor where they had extras such as car giveaways and raffles, merch, and a little kiddie racetrack. One of the cars that I was particularly excited to check out was the Volkswagen ID Buzz. It definitely was giving Scooby-Doo vibes, but I have to admit I was a little bit disappointed. My first knowledge of this car was probably back in 2017 when they put out a concept for it, and something that I really liked was that the second row seats could swivel completely backwards so that you were facing the people in the third row, and I was a bit disappointed that this car wasn't exactly like that. On the way to get something to eat, we passed by this beautiful car that reminded me of presidential motorcades. Another car that I have an affinity towards is the Chevy Impala. So when I saw this, I was completely flabbergasted. I really love the look of this. The engravings on the engine were super beautiful. On the lowermost level, there were a lot of military cars and police cars, and just for reference, I'm 6 foot tall. This tire is gigantic. There was a small exhibit that featured a bunch of different old school police vehicles, which I thought was really cool to kind of see the history of it. Thank you so much for coming along with me on another Tall Taro Adventure. More to come soon. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.